collect the really nice ones.
And then if there's somebody special there who's in charge of the event, you think, oh, here's a big bird feather for you.
Yes.
But
once gave
typically
that
you
to-
save them.
I gave one to Pierce Brosnan and his wife.
What?
That's very
Let's
nice.
You
talk-
gave a big
let's-
bird feather to 007?
Let's
Yes.
talk about James Bond and Big Bird.
Wait, is there a story?
It was it was like back in the 80s. The 80s was really busy, and things have calmed down. But the 80s were really busy.
Everyone was working.
My gosh, puppets everywhere in the 80s. And there was this thing called Night of 100 Stars Part
Right.
2, and it was basically to benefit the Actors Fund for AFTRA and SAG, and it was at Radio City Music Hall, and it was like a glorious 3-hour just parade of stars of the day who basically just. They wouldn't really do anything. They would just walk out, and they would actually count, 27 is and just they would take a bow. They really did nothing.
Wow.
And so for this was I think it was 87, and the Muppets were involved in it. So there was this opening number about New York, New York, and Big Bird was in it, and he sang a quick little thing, "I Love New York in June" with Carol Channing.
Oh.
Oh.
And then they walked out, and then this big Muppet bus came out, and that's when the Muppets were in the bus.
Did they
And I
count
was
the
one of
Muppets
those.
as only one star?
Yeah, they did actually. It's like the Kermit the Frog was his own star, and then the Muppets were like their own star. And so then typically it was like Kermit Love was pretty much when they did special things like this. Kermit would go and wrangle Big Bird. Kermit would always want to catch his bus back to New Paltz. And so he said, it's like, "You wouldn't mind staying, would you, laddie?" I was like, "Shh, okay." And so he just left. And then for the next, I'm not kidding, 7 hours, we're up in the green room just waiting for Big Bird to show up at the finale. Because at the finale, all the stars are there.
They have to stay till the end.
And you have to stay to the end. So you have this makeshift dance studio that's been turned to carpeting, and it has open soda bar. No one was allowed to drink alcohol, so it's just like soda. But
That's weird.
Yes, but you have all these stars of the 80s, and me and Carol and Debbie, his wife, we were like, and Jim, because Jim was there too with Kermit the Frog.
Wow.
And so we're just hanging out, waiting and waiting. And literally at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when it's time to do the big finale. And Carol goes up the risers, and I've got Big Bird. And then I'm going to put Big Bird on him, but I'm going to wait till the last minute, so he just let it stuck there. Meanwhile, all of a sudden they've got all the other stars coming up, so then I realized, I'm trapped. So I put the bird on Carol, and then I just duck down behind,
amazing.
and then I'm just ducking down behind whoever's in front. And then, I think it was Pierce Brosnan, he was such a fan of Big Bird, and so as we were leaving, I had a feather in my pocket, and I said, "Here." Because his wife loved it too. It's for you. And he's like, "Thank you so much." He was they were so pleased they got a Big Bird feather.
People are excited by it.
It is.
They frame
So
it.
that's the James Bond Big Bird connection.
I won't lie. If I got a big bird feather, I would probably put it in a floating frame. Stick it on the wall. I could probably just go to a craft store and get a yellow feather and just call it a day.
No, this is specific feathers. No, you can tell. It's not just one of those
Lars,
cheap
will you
little...
smuggle me a feather?
Did you not come to the workshop yet? What's going on?
I did come to the workshop, but there was no feathers offered as a parting gift.
Nate, have you been to the workshop yet?
I have.
Yes, he has.
You
Did
have.
you get a feather?
No.
Well, Lars is making it act like everyone gets a feather.
What?
Well,
I got a feather. Wait a minute.
They give you a feather.
No,
they kick
no,
you in
probably
the
still
ass.
has some hiding out on
Yeah,
him somewhere.
I'm in pants.
surprised that I haven't given you one because typically I could be there, refurbing the bird, and they're just out, and here's some crappy ones that I can't use anyway, and then I hand you that.
Well, there you go.